Hey everyone, AquaTwist here. I recently got back from PAX West and wow, that was a crazy time. I got to be part of an amazing panel with Street Pass Live 3 and special thanks to TheGamingOtter for allowing me and my friends to be part of it. But the best part of PAX itself was talking to all these cool content creators, big and small. I wanted to ask them in terms of the Nintendo Switch. This console handheld hybrid is nearly 8 years old as of this video. That's crazy. And we're just moments away from the Switch 2 reveal, which that's insane. But before that inevitably happens, I wanted to ask these YouTubers what they thought of the Nintendo Switch looking back. Think of this as a sort of collaboration retrospective, if that makes sense. What were your favorite games? Did you have any takeaways? And what are you going to miss about the Switch? These questions and more will be asked by YouTubers such as... What are your thoughts about finally leaving the old Switch behind and having a new console?
It's about time. I think it's a piece of shit. Have you seen the new games on it? Laggy as ugh. But I also need it to come out quicker to save my dying YouTube channel. Yeah! 25, 50 more ways to break a Switch 2 or whatever they call it. I hope they keep the Switch name because then my older Switch videos will still get views. Yeah!
I think it's about time. I really like the Switch a lot. It's my favorite console, like, from Nintendo, probably. Just in terms of the library it has and the functionality of the system itself. And I think for me, it's just, I was ready for a new console a long time ago, and I think a lot of other people were too. Like, how long have the Switch Pro rumors been going on for, you know? But I think at this point, it seems like it's about time. It seems like a lot of developers are having a harder time developing games for the Switch and making them run at a decent, you know, frame rate or whatever. So yeah, I'm feeling pretty good about what's going to happen next. Part of me is also kind of happy we never got a Switch Pro because the jump from the current Switch to the new one is probably going to be like way more impressive than it would have been if we had a Switch Pro. So yeah, I don't know. I'm just looking forward to it. Looking forward to seeing what they do.
What was your favorite Nintendo Switch game and why?
So my favorite Nintendo Switch game of all time, I am going to personally go with Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. And the reason for that is because Sakurai really put his heart and soul into everything to do with this game and the DLC, and they gave me the one character that I asked for like a decade, and that was Sora, and I can't believe that they actually did that, and they added the majority of the characters that fans wanted. Sure, they didn't add Crash or Spyro due to rights or whatever the heck. If they would have another pass, honestly, I could have seen it, only because they really did the impossible with Pass 1 and 2, with Banjo being in there and Sora being in there. And I think that's the reason why that's probably my favorite Nintendo game ever, is because it's really just the culmination of video games itself. And I think we need more of that, and how they are going to top that, I have truly no idea. However, I will say Super Mario Bros. Wonder is probably a close second, because I will say the replay value on that game is really, really high. And I also will say it's my favorite 2D Mario game behind Super Mario World, but they're both really close. And that game really impressed me with its creativity and abilities and the level design. I think everything about Mario Wonder, for the most part, is just dang near perfect.
Hello everyone, Nick the Gaming Otter, to show you my favorite game on the Nintendo Switch, and it has to be Streets of Rage 4. The reason why Streets of Rage 4 is one of my favorite games is it came out during the pandemic. It was a really great game, great fighting system, great soundtrack, fun story to go along with divergent paths, and it really builds on the beat-em-up franchise. The beat-em-up franchise might be a little restrictive in certain aspects, but there are many ways that you can make a beat-em-up a lot of fun, and Streets of Rage 4 definitely is it. So if you have money and you want to play a really great beat-em-up, I highly recommend Streets of Rage 4. Thank you.
So I think my favorite Switch game, I don't know where to look. I'm going to look at this Luigi plush here. I'm going to put Luigi right here, and I'm going to look at Luigi from now on. Okay, so the audience is Luigi. Okay. So I think my favorite, like, Switch exclusive game, if we're not counting ports or games that are on other consoles, my favorite Switch exclusive game is probably the Link's Awakening remake. It's not my favorite version of Link's Awakening. I still think I like Link's Awakening DX just a little bit more, but Link's Awakening on the Switch, like the 2019 one, was the first version of the game I actually completed. And that was the version of the game that really helped me fall in love with Link's Awakening. And something I really like about Link's Awakening is just how it's a small game, but it's very dense with stuff to do and stuff to find. And that really, you know, just that kind of gameplay design is something I really enjoy. Like, having open world Zelda is really cool, but I kind of just prefer the smaller Zelda games a lot of the time. And Link's Awakening just really I loved that game. I was super addicted to it when it came out. Like, right after I beat it, I immediately wanted to start a new playthrough, and I did, and I played the entire game on Master Mode without dying so I could unlock the secret ending. So, it's a fantastic game. I think it's a really great version of Link's Awakening for newcomers to play, but I do think I would also recommend the DX version, which you can play on the Switch if you have Switch Online. So, yeah, fantastic game. Definitely recommend it. You can't go wrong with like either version of Link's Awakening, in my opinion.
What was your biggest takeaway from the Nintendo Switch as we approach the Switch 2?
Looking back, I feel like the Switch is one of those things, personally, like, it had a really strong start. 2017 was one of Nintendo's best years with Breath of the Wild, Splatoon 2, Mario Odyssey. I feel like in 2018, they kind of dipped a little bit, but then even in 2019, 2020, every single year since then, there's just been so many strong titles for Nintendo. So with that momentum, I'm really looking back at it all and being if from the Wii U, they brought that, I can't wait to see what the Switch 2 brings after all of that.
I think for me, it's just the fact that Nintendo have developed themselves into such a wonderful corner, and I mean that in a good way, and that it's really hard to imagine them ever not doing some iteration of the Switch going forward, because that handheld console hybrid has been so incredibly successful for them. And I think just them iterating on it and making it better and better and better with better specs each generation, they seem to have found something that's going to work in perpetuity for them, and I think that's really exciting.
Absolutely, thank you. Well, it was nice talking to you, Ash.
You too.
I appreciate the response. So
Thank you.
we'll see what other people have to say.
All right.
Let's see, my biggest takeaway is the fact that Nintendo solely, maybe a little too much for my taste, but solely focused on games. They wanted to have the most games, they wanted to have the best games and the most fun games. And that's why, if you look at all of the first-party games on the Nintendo Switch, I mean, it is a ridiculous amount of games. There's a lot of them that are from the Wii U, but they also made a lot of original games for the Switch. And if you look at the other consoles, they're not doing very well. They have maybe 10, 15, 20 games at most that are first-party, and they've been out for 4 years. So definitely games.
Oh, I mean, I love it. I think it's the best system Nintendo's ever done. Just such a huge amount of games, all the hype around it. It was a really special time. I think Nintendo has captured the magic that I felt during the GameCube era. I think I will always treasure the Switch generation.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Arlo, and I hope you have a good time, PAX.
My pleasure. Thank you. You too.
Yeah, I mean, the Switch, I think, is by far their best console. Yeah. It has the strongest library, I think, probably of any console, honestly, because, it's not just the new games. You also have every other game ever made, basically, has come through. All the Final Fantasies, basically all the Dragon Quest, everything has come over. A lot of old GameCube games. And the Switch, it's I don't know, it started off really quick, and then there was kind of a dip during COVID, I would say. Yeah. But then ever since, I've always said this, ever since Metroid Dread came out, it has just been such banger after banger. So yeah, I mean, this is going to go down as their best generation. I hope the Switch 2 can capture that. Oh yeah. But yeah, it's been a good generation for Nintendo.
Yeah.
What are you going to miss about the Switch era of Nintendo?
The thing I'm going to miss the most about the Switch era is just the community surrounding the Switch. This has been an amazing time to be a Nintendo fan. We're seeing so many series come back, and we're also seeing so many people get into Nintendo for the first time, and just having fans return after not playing Nintendo games for a while. You'll see people who grew up with Nintendo get a Switch, and it's just an amazing community. This is when my YouTube channel really started to take off, and I will say, I'm excited for new hardware, but Switch, it will always have a special place in my heart.
I think the thing I'm going to miss most about the current Switch era are games costing $60. Because that is definitely not going to hold if Tears of the Kingdom is anything to go off of. But I think for me, it's really hard to know exactly what to expect, you know? Because we don't know anything about this new console. I think it's easy to assume that whatever it's going to be is going to be more of like an extension of what the Switch currently is, rather than something completely new. So it's hard for me to say exactly what I'm going to miss from this current era, because I feel like it's just going to be more of what we already have. However, something that I do already miss from the current Switch era is when the Switch felt new. So within like the first, like, I don't know, 1 or 2 years of the Switch, like, the console felt revolutionary. It felt like nothing, you know, on the market was really like it. And just that novelty of playing home console games on the go was something you could only get with the Nintendo Switch. And I felt that way for years, like playing Smash Ultimate on the Switch. That was like 2 years after the thing came out, or like a year and a half after the thing came out. And I was like, wow. Just a couple years ago, I was playing Super Smash Bros. On the 3DS, and that was the closest I could get to a console experience with Smash on the go. But nowadays, it's like, well, we have, you know, handheld PCs, like the Steam Deck is really taking off, and there's like plenty of other handheld PCs you can get. The novelty factor of the Switch is just completely gone. And we're never gonna have that novelty factor again, I think, because, well, the technology has just caught up to the point where you can play these games on the go, and it's not just exclusive to the Switch. So that's something that I currently miss, because it was really cool for a little while, but now it's just, the Switch is just, you know, just part of my everyday life at this point, so I've just gotten used to it. But, yeah.
Nothing. I can't think of a single thing. Maybe the red Joy-Cons? Even though they don't work anymore with my Switch.
What I'm going to miss most about the Switch is just how it impacted my life as a gamer. I've always been a fan of Nintendo. I've been playing their games for almost all my life. But ever since that fateful day on March 3rd, 2017, when I played Breath of the Wild for the first time on this, the fact that you could play a home console game that huge and just expansive on such a tiny screen, and you can bring it with you, no strings attached, I'm gonna be honest, I don't think Nintendo can ever replicate that level of magic for me, especially when I was only like 17. And ever since then, the Switch has been a part of my everyday life. From early 2018, playing Smash Ultimate 5 minutes before the midnight launch and just gushing about it and just being hyped for the reveal like I was a kid again. Or 2020, when I was playing Animal Crossing and seeing a niche series that I loved as a kid just explode into this like mass like appealing game, which I never thought that series would have. And 2021, when I was at the lowest point of my life, and just having these new friends like help me get out of that and play Splatoon 2 and make me love that series for the first time. It's just, I don't think I would be a gamer or a Nintendo fan if the Switch wasn't as successful as it was. I'd probably be like a Sony fanboy, like gushing over Yakuza or something. But in all seriousness, I really hope the Switch 2 is at the very least a good console, and we don't have another Wii U or GameCube situation. But that's going to be it for me. Let me know in the comments below what you think of the Switch and if you have any memories with it. Thank you again to all these awesome content creators for providing their thoughts. All their channels will be linked down in the description below. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe if you want to see more Switch videos like this. Anyways, of course, gotta get back to my Switch, so see y'all later. Bye.
Riding up until the day I meet you, I'm riding up. I look up in the sky, asking out a while, but never let it faze me. I'm keeping good vibes when I'm on the road. Watch out for all